Good morning. So it's Saturday morning, and I'm doing another live. And, well, a couple days ago I did one, and I got my first troll. So hopefully, my friend Michael will show up here real soon, and he's going to help moderate. So if somebody decides to be, not nice, um, that'll be addressed. And if Michael doesn't show up, which I hope he does, but if he doesn't, that's okay. Please bear with us, and we will address that. And I do apologize if anybody's being harassed. Oh, Michael's here! Yay! Hi, Michael. So anyway, yeah, we had a troll, and he's here, and so that's not going to happen again, not for long. Um, and then uh, one of the people who were very active in the last live session that I did, that was Lindy Best, and she's awesome. She has a channel as well, and she asked me some questions. So today I am going to tell you how I started my business. So just a little backstory for those of you who don't know, I moved here into Georgia 3 years ago, and basically I just packed up my car and left and um, started a cleaning business. But there's a couple things I did before I came down here. So I'm going to tell you what I did. Um, oh, really, Michael? I have you down as a moderator. Well, I don't know. I guess after the live session, I'll check and see what's going on. And I think you can still report people if they harass or if they say something inappropriate. But we'll talk about it, I guess, after the live session and see how things went. Okay. But thank you for showing up. But okay, so anyway, I moved down here 3 years ago with just a carload of my possessions. I didn't know anybody here except for my husband. He came down a year before me. But before I came, I knew what I was going to do. I knew I was going to start a cleaning business. So a couple things I did before I got here, I did some research. So I looked up in the area different cleaning businesses, and I checked out how much different companies were charging and set my prices at in the middle. So I'm not the cheapest, but I'm not the most expensive either. So that was the first thing I did. I did some research. And then about 2 weeks before I actually started, I started placing Craigslist ads. And Craigslist was a little bit different at the time. You could post for services for free. Since then, they've changed their policy. Now, where I live, it's $5, which really isn't a bad price. I mean, there was a lot of moaning and groaning about it when it first started, but when I think back to when I was placing ads before the internet, I used to place ads in a little local paper, and it was $25, and that was back in the 80s, so that was a lot more money back then than it is now. And I mean, Craigslist is still a fairly inexpensive place to advertise, if you have something that you want to advertise that you have to pay for. And I don't know if that's across the country yet. It's been over a year since they've changed that policy, but it's $5, so it's not that expensive. Um, so I got together my equipment that I needed, and the one thing that, well, I had to purchase everything because I only brought, like, my personal possessions, but the main thing that I bought that cost me the most was my vacuum cleaner, and I bought it off of Amazon, and I had it delivered here. And I got together the basic things that I knew that I was going to need. So I'll go over that a little bit too, so um, you know what to get to start. But it's really very easy. The starting a cleaning business really is not hard at all. So I bought my vacuum cleaner, and then when I got down here, I bought some plastic bottles, and I got a Rubbermaid caddy. I still have it, and I still use it. And I bought window cleaner, and I bought a degreaser, and I got, I use Fabuloso a lot because it smells good, and people, even though technically clean doesn't have a smell, people want their house to smell good, and Fabuloso smells great, and it's reasonably priced. Just basic things that you need. A little bit of bleach. I don't use a lot of bleach, but sometimes you need it. My cleaning rags, what I did to start, because I really didn't have a lot, well, I still don't have a lot of money, but I was just getting started building up the things that I needed. So what I did was, I got, at Lowe's or Home Depot or places like that, they sell painter's rags by the pound, and I think it's, I haven't bought them in a while, but I think it's like $4 for 2 pounds of cleaning rags, and basically what they are is just pieces of t-shirt material. So I got that, and later on, I bought microfiber cloths, and I bought some online. I really wasn't that happy with the ones that I bought online, and I've done some experimenting with different things. Don't buy them at the dollar store. They're horrible, the ones that you get from the dollar store. It's a waste of money. But the best ones for the best price, I found in the automotive section at Walmart, places like that. The quality's good. They don't charge as much as they do. Like if you go into the home department and buy those microfiber cloths, they cost more. So those are the two things, big tips as far as cleaning rags if you don't have something to start with. Let's see. So I also went to Vistaprint, and I got my cards printed up, and let me show you this. It's not on my vehicle right now, but look, they have these magnetic things. This is dirty, that's why it's here. It's stuck in my freezer. But I have these for my vehicle, and this one needs to be cleaned. And I got those off of Vistaprint. I think the magnetic signs are about $14, $15. And I can't remember the price of cards, but Vistaprint's pretty popular as far as getting business cards and those type of things. So, and then the other thing, well, there's two things that I did that are really, really important. And one of them is I started this YouTube channel. It took me about a year to do this, but when I put my ads in Craigslist, Craigslist is funny too, because they don't really want you putting external links in there, and what they'll do is they'll ghost you if you violate their terms of service. So say I had my address for my YouTube channel on my Craigslist ad, people may not see my ad even though I've paid for it, even though, so I don't do that, but I do say look up Miss Jenny's Cleaning on YouTube, and also my Facebook page. I have a Facebook page just for Miss Jenny's Cleaning, and those two things are actually very, very important, because you can post your pictures, you can post any kind of sales that you have on your Facebook page, and strategically what I did was to get some likes and some feedback from people, is the people that I knew, even though they were back in Maryland. I had all my friends come and like my page, so that kind of got that ball rolling. And the YouTube channel, anybody who's got a YouTube channel, you know that takes time to get it moving. And I've just this past year reached my 1,000 subscriber mark. I'm still not monetized, and that's okay. It still is profitable, and the reason why is because when people are looking for me and they on Craigslist, if they come to my YouTube channel, they see what I look like, so when I knock on their door, if they haven't seen me before, they know that I'm the real person. And they also, some of my customers have commented that they like that I try to teach people and help them, with things, and it gives you credibility when you're showing people how to do something. It shows that you know what you're doing. So those things all build up credibility and professionalism and things like that. So that's what I did, and what I still do really for my marketing. What else? There was something else I wanted to tell you. I'm tired. Can you tell? Look at these bags. I've had a very busy week. Oh, I also got myself an appointment book. Now, I don't keep my appointments on any kind of sorry, there's an airplane. I don't keep it on any kind of electronic media, and the reason why is if you saw my stuff, you would know that I just destroy. My phone has tape on it, my iPad has tape on it. Everything, they get dropped, they get wet. I've gone through 3 phones since I've been here. There's a story about me dropping a phone in a bucket. That was just awful. So I do pen and paper with my appointment books. And there's different types of cleaning. So you have people who are looking for regular cleaners. You're looking for people who are moving. Well, that's what I do anyway. There's post-construction cleaning. And so really, really super important is to keep your books, have your schedule, but also giving them that card. But then, especially with people with regular cleaning, you want to make sure before I leave, I try to schedule them for their next cleaning, so that, I'm building up a clientele. And then another thing that I do to help people, because people forget, one of the reasons why they hire a cleaning company is because they're just so busy, their life is hectic, for whatever reason. So the day before, I always send them a text, and I ask them, or I just say, tomorrow's cleaning day, yay, or something like that, and that way they remember, or they can be prepared. And then I'm so sorry. What a day, my goodness. So, you want to try to build up your clientele. And when you're giving out business cards, you want to also let them know that referrals, or you take referrals. I have a little program, I guess you would call it, for people who refer businesses to me, or refer customers to me. And it's I think it's very generous, but it's also, they have to abide by it. So the program that I have is for every 3 paying customer that somebody refers to me, I give them $60 off of their next cleaning. So that's a pretty good discount. And I make sure that they understand that they have to pay, because just some experience that I've had in the past where we've had things like, if you refer somebody, I've had experiences where people have called for, and they schedule something and then they cancel. Meanwhile, this person's getting credit for the referral, so they have to pay. Okay. And it does take a little while, but people will refer you. Like I told you on my last live session, I had this group of young Indian men, and they're from India, and it's a whole community, and they keep passing my name from person to person. So people will talk about you. So that's how I got started. It's an easy business to start, but it's hard work. I will tell you, it is hard work. It's physical, which is good. I mean, it's good to move around and use your muscles and things like that, but it's also very hard on your body sometimes. Um, in in that case, I do have some rules. Like, I basically don't move furniture. I will move a chair, I will move a small table, things like that, things that aren't going to hurt me if I move them, but I don't move dressers, I don't move big pieces of furniture. So that's one of my rules. One of the other rules that I have, and that is that there are certain things that I don't clean up. So feces, urine, vomit, blood. These are all things that are considered hazardous material. I don't clean that up. Obviously, in bathrooms, there's going to be little things, here and there, and that has to be cleaned. But if somebody throws up on the floor, or their dogs do a mess, or, things like that, I don't clean those things. Um, and then, you have to decide what kind of cleaning you're going to do. So there's different specialties. So like we were just talking about these hazmat, and I would actually like to get into it. I think there's really good money in doing, it's actually called bio rehab. Um, that is the kind of cleaning where if somebody, if there's a crime committed, or somebody who doesn't have anybody looking out for them and they pass away and they're not discovered for a while, and that's a messy thing. Um, it's very gory work, so I don't know that I could actually do the work, but I would love to have a business that does that. I just haven't. I don't know. I don't know. That's intriguing to me. But you work. The police don't do that. The fire department doesn't do that. A lot of people think that they do. But they would refer you, or the medical examiner, the people who take care of the legal side of things that happen like that. They make the referrals to those types of businesses. So there's that. Um, there's there's commercial cleaning. I don't do a lot of that. I have done some, and I have one commercial account that I've actually had from the very beginning. Uh, you know, you can do commercial cleaning, which is a little bit different. I do mostly residential, and even within the residential, there's some variations. Like I was saying, you can do regular cleaning where you go in and you clean somebody's house as they live there. You can do move in and move out cleaning. So, and I've done both sides of it, where somebody's moving out and they want their deposit back, or they want their house to be show ready if they're trying to sell it. And then move in, or a lot of that sometimes is also from people who are investors. They have rental properties and a tenant left the house a mess and they want it ready for the next tenant. They would hire me to come in and clean it and get it ready. And the other types is post-construction. So people who have done remodeling, which isn't so bad, but when you have, I say when they've done remodeling, like they've done their kitchen or they've done their bathroom or they've added on something or maybe put in new floors, that kind of thing, that's not so bad. But I don't particularly care for post-construction. It's a different kind of dirt, and it's actually very hard to get that dust up. But post-construction, if there's been a whole rehab or a brand new building, getting the dust up and that kind of thing, there's that type of cleaning as well. And I charge differently for each type of service, because it's funny, when somebody moves out, they think, well, there's no furniture, it's so much easier. No, it's not, because you're doing a different kind of cleaning. So you're not just wiping off the surface of the counters, you're opening the cabinets, you're wiping the entire cabinet. It's just so much different, and it actually takes longer, and there's a lot more work involved in it than just going through and cleaning somebody's house while they're living there. People don't realize that. The other thing that you want to do is figure out how you're going to charge people. So I charge by the job. I think that's a better way to charge. And I also pay by the job. So I pay a commission. If I have somebody working with me, I pay them a percentage of the job. If I refer a job to somebody and they clean it by themselves, I pay a higher commission. I don't know, bug got me. I pay a higher commission because obviously they're doing more work. Some people prefer to pay by the hour. I don't particularly like that. For a couple reasons. I don't do that because every house is different. So it may take you longer to do something in one house than another, or you may get through it faster. I just think that it's just much better to pay piecework. I also think it's better to pay your employees by commission, and I'll explain why if you decide to go that way. And the reason why is, now, granted, you got to pace yourself, because it's going to take you a couple hours to clean a huge house. And some of the houses that I have are huge. I have one that has 8 bathrooms. It's like cleaning 2 houses. It takes me all day long, literally 8 hours to clean this house. And it's not a particularly messy house. It just takes a long time because it's so big. So yes, you have to pace yourself in order to endure. But I have found that when you pay somebody by the hour, they kind of poke along, or it could cause them to poke along. I don't want to say that because everybody's got different work ethic, but if you pay by commission and you pay well, so I pay 40% actually when somebody's working with me. 40% of the total cost of the job. And the thought process is, if we can get this job done, then we can get to the second job quicker, and we can get that one done, and our house is, we're done for the day, and you've made pretty good money in that amount of time. So it just, I think it's more motivational for employees. That's my personal professional opinion based on experience over the years, not just with cleaning houses, but other businesses and other types of work that I've had. People are more motivated if you reward them with quality and quantity. So that's why I do that. Um, I want to touch a little bit on Craigslist, because not just the cost, but you have to be careful and pay attention to what people are saying to you when they contact you. So a lot of times people will text me, asking about the services, and the text, you know, we know when you text, you don't hear a person, you don't see them, so you're just going by what you're reading. And not most of, well, a lot of times these are actually scammers. So one of the things that I get a lot is that they want me to clean this particular house. They give me an address. They actually give me an address. And they say, well, we're out of the country. The landlord will give you the key. And they go on about all these details. And then they say, I'm going to pay you. Say it was a job that maybe only cost $200, but they're offering to pay $500. A little bell should be going off in your head if they're going to overpay you, okay? Because what they're doing is, somehow, I don't understand how it all works, but I do know that they overpay with some sort of fraudulent funding, and then they want the difference sent back to them. So that's how they make their money. And then by the time your bank processes this check, you're out of, say, that $500 or whatever they're offering for it. So that's something to be careful of. The other thing that I get, and it doesn't work for me, but maybe if this is something that you're thinking about doing, a lot of people want you to come in like 3 days a week for 2 hours. That doesn't fit into the way I schedule and the way I want to work my life, but it might work for you. Um, so it's something to consider. That's more of like a maid service. It's different from a cleaning service. It's a little more individual. Uh, I don't want to do that, but there are people that, that's what they're requesting. And you may be doing other things like food prep, or, picking up their kids, or running an errand to the grocery store, those kind of things. So there's a wide variety of things that you can do. I also I offer organizing services. I don't do a lot of it, but sometimes people have an area of their house that they need to get a little more control over, or they're trying to get organized. And I've had customers who have like a whole living room full of laundry just laying all over their sofa. That falls under the organizing. And I charge $20 an hour for that, which is a lot of money to be folding clothes, but that's what I charge. And I have a minimum. So if somebody wants me to come in strictly for organizing and not actually cleaning their house, you pay my minimum fee. If it takes me 2 hours to organize your room, you still pay me the same amount of money. If it takes me 5, then I have a $75 minimum, and then $20 an hour after that. So after the first 3 hours. So these are things that I do. I don't get a lot of that, which is fine, because it's not really something I'm comfortable with. If I'm going to do those kind of services, I really need the person to be there, at least while I'm getting started, so I can ask questions. Because when you're touching personal things and trying to figure out what to do with their things, I'm not the type of person, usually, unless somebody's got a problem. I mean, I'll help them figure it out, but I'm not a person that's going to say, oh, that needs to be thrown away and that needs to be donated. I can't do that to people's things, because I don't know what their attachment, what their plans are, what they paid for it. I don't know any of that. So I'm not 100% comfortable with that. It depends on the situation, but I personally prefer the person to be there when I'm doing that. And um, this is something too. So one of the ways that you can learn a lot about the business and how to do certain things is get on Facebook. Has lots and lots of groups about for professional cleaning, and ask a house cleaner, and lots of different groups, and get in these groups and you can ask questions or read, what other people post. And one of the things I see come up a lot of my colleagues don't like the homeowners to be there, but I personally, I don't mind one way or another. If they're there, in a way, I feel that it's good if they're there, because if you come across something that you don't know what to do or what they want done with it, they're there. You can ask them questions. Do you want me to put this away, or do you want me to use a certain thing on this piece of furniture? So I don't think that it's a bad thing. And then this is my thought too. I mean, we're providing a service. I help people. That's what I do. I'm helping people. So, some people, they're old. They're old. They can't do it because they can't bend over anymore. They can't squat down anymore. Why should they leave their house? I had a customer who, I don't have her anymore because her husband passed away, but he was bedridden, and she was just so consumed with all of her time helping him, taking care of him, and then, she was working, and I think she had a child as well, a teenager, and, you know, sh I'm not going to ask her to leave her house, and obviously her husband couldn't. He was stuck in a bed, so I don't, to me that seems kind of selfish, and I don't know why somebody, I mean, I get, like, you don't want people peeking over your shoulder and nitpicking at everything that you do. You wouldn't want that in any kind of work that you do, but I've never found customers to be that way. Most of the time, if they're staying in the house, they try to stay out of my way, and they're still there. Um, Let them be in your house, and if you're an honest, upstanding person, there's no reason for you to want them to be out. I don't go in their house to steal their things or snoop through their drawers or whatever it is that people do that's kind of shady. So I don't care if they're there. I kind of like it. And then well, the other thing that I do, I want to build relationships with my customers. So if I've never seen their house particularly, I don't even bring my things to the door. I just go up and I knock on the door and introduce myself, and I say, "Hi, I'm Jenny. Can you give me a quick tour?" And I have them show me around the house, and I'm listening. Okay, it's important to listen because they're going to give you clues to what's important to them. So they'll show you the bathroom, and you go in, you take a look, and you kind of assess how bad it is or how bad it's not. And they'll show you the rest of the house, and you want to listen, like, if they're telling you, oh, the pet hair, that's something they're going to be looking for, or this is my son's room and it's a total mess. Sometimes they'll tell you not to even go into some of their children's rooms because they didn't pick up like they were told to, so that's just an easier job for you then. But you want to listen to what they're saying because they're going to give you clues to what's important to them. Okay, and some people have pet peeves, like uh, when you go downstairs and it has the little railing there with the things that go up and down between the banister, and on the side there's a piece of the stair that pokes out that you can't walk on. I've had customers complain about the dust there, so make a mental note when you go and you clean, make sure that you wipe that off. Just things like that, or they'll talk about the cobwebs, or whatever it is that's important to them, they'll tell you, and it gives you an opportunity to ask. And so once I go on the tour, then I go and I get my things and I come in the house, and I usually start, as far up in the farthest part from the front door or wherever door I plan on leaving, and work my way down the house that way. Sometimes you have to make adjustments too. I mean, like I said, look, people are in the house and we all have different schedules now. So somebody who's maybe working nights, they might still have a spouse that's sleeping when you get there, and so you start in a different part of the house until they wake up and then go there. But you can make adjustments. So let's see. Those are the things that I do. I carry my cards with me everywhere too. because you'd be surprised. And my sign that I showed you a little while ago, I use that as a conversation tool. So let's just say I'm going out shopping for supplies that I need, and I go to places like Walmart, Home Depot, even the dollar store. There are certain things that I buy at the, not those microfiber cloths, but there are things that I buy at the dollar store, like my magic eraser type things. I buy them at the dollar store. So, but mostly Walmart seems to be the place. Walmart and Lowe's or Home Depot. And you'll see somebody and they'll be like looking. And I can, start a conversation with them. What do you look at, well, I like this particular mop, and I tell them why, and I tell them what I do, and I give them a card. Excuse me. Sorry about that. You know, sometimes they'll call you back, sometimes they won't. The interesting thing is, so I've been, like I said, this is a little over 3 years. I have people now who are texting me or calling me that I may have given a card to a year ago. And they just now are getting around to calling me. So you don't know when you're planting these seeds when they're actually going to come to fruition. Um, you obviously have to have, well, not necessarily. I was going to say you have to have, yes, you have to have transportation, but you don't necessarily have to have a car if you live in an area that has good public transportation. This is not me, but when I was telling you about some of my colleagues, people that I talk to, and some of the groups that I'm part of, there are people who live in cities who actually have to take the bus or the subway to get to where their customers are. And they have a way that they manage things. So, and that's another thought. Maybe you don't want to buy all the supplies. Maybe you're going to request that the customer has their supplies. I know there's people that do that. They give them a list and they tell them what to bring. I personally, I don't do that because I don't want somebody having given me some crappy product and thinking that I'm going to be able to clean and do a miracle with something that doesn't work. So I have my stuff that I know that works. I would offer also like furniture polish is one. I don't carry furniture polish with me, but if a customer wants their furniture polish used on their wood furniture, they can give it to me. Eventually, I know where they keep it, and I'll use that, but I don't supply that because there's so much controversy over um, what's good to use and what's not good to use. So I just do what they ask me to do. I don't bring my own for that particular thing. But some people don't. They don't bring anything. They ask the customer to supply it. Other colleagues of mine, they do something that's interesting. I don't know how it all works out because it seems to me like it would be a big expense for the company. But they supply a mop and a mop bucket, and a lot of them like those spin mops, but they're bulky. They're kind of hard to carry around. But if you're going to supply one for the customer, that's great. And so they actually supply the mop and the vacuum cleaner. I've heard too. Some people, that's expensive, but that's what they do. That's how they want to run their business, and they charge the customer for that initially up front. Um, so there's things to consider. Another thing to consider, actually two things. One is licensing. You need to check in your area what the requirements are for licensing. Some places have different requirements, and then the other thing is insurance. Okay, you know, and that's going to depend on how your business is set up. So, like for me, I don't have workers' comp because the majority of the time I work by myself, so I don't really have to have workers' comp. Um, but liability is a good thing to have. You want to make sure that you have liabilities. I've been lucky so far. I have broken a thing here and there. Something. There's always something small. I've never broken anything of value, thank God. But accidents happen. So liability is a good thing to have. You wouldn't want to replace somebody's antique carpet because you or an employee spilt bleach on it and now it's a priceless heirloom that can't be replaced. So insurance is a good thing to have. And then if you're really, really just starting out and you're not sure about technique and you really want to get some sort of a routine down that works for you. So There's a book that I recommend. It's called Speed Cleaning. You can get it off of Amazon, and I'll put a link below when I'm done recording this. It's a little dated, but it's still a good book. It's dated because it was written before computers and cell phones, and TV still had glass screens on them. We didn't have the plasma and the LED and all that kind of stuff like we have now. But it's still a good one because it gives you a good foundation to work with on how to use a duster, how to efficiently go through a room in a quick manner and get every surface done. It gives you ways to work in teams, how you can divide the work up so that it's balanced and everybody comes out at the same time, because the object is to get the job done, get it done well, and be able to move on to the next job or to finish your day. So that's a really good book. And I believe they also have some videos on YouTube if you want to look those up. Um, Clean My Space, Melissa Maker, she's got a lot of really good videos. She's got a cleaning company too. She's based out of Canada, and I like her a lot. Some of the stuff that she puts on there is not practical for your day-to-day in and out cleaning, but she's got tons and tons and tons of information on there, so she's a good one to watch. And then there's other people, but those are the two main ones that I recommend if you want to get information. Of course, there's my channel. I have bathrooms and kitchens and vacuuming and other tips. But if you have questions, because this question actually came from one of my supporters, my subscribers. So if you have any other questions regarding how I run my business or what to do, please ask. Either put it in the comments below, or if you watch another video and it sparks a question, let me know. I'll do the best I can to answer your questions. Okay? And that's about it, really. Just making sure that I have everything, all the supplies, which isn't that expensive. I mean, if you have to, you can pull out of what you have for your house. I bought a vacuum cleaner because I didn't have one, but if you've got one, take it with you. And get the word out. Make sure that everybody knows who you are. Oh, I know what I forgot. If you're starting, this is one of the things I forgot, and this is kind of important. So let's just say you're going to start, you don't have any customers, you've not cleaned anybody's house. There's a couple things that you can do, because when you're starting your Facebook page or you're starting your advertising, and that is take pictures either of your own house or offer for some of your friends. My first pictures came from my ex mother-in-law. I stopped at her house on my way down here. It was right before Christmas, and she needed some help getting her house clean before she put her Christmas decorations up. I spent a couple days there, and I took pictures of her house. Those were my very first pictures. And you want to make sure when you post them on your advertising, particularly on Facebook, that you put some little watermark on there that indicates that they're yours, because I have had people taking some of my photos of customers that I've cleaned for and using them for their advertising, and that's, I'm sorry, not cool. Competitors, local competitors, no less. How about that? So make sure you put, I put Miss Jenny's cleaning, or I put photos by Jenny Azadi or something like that on there, just so that if somebody wants to bootleg my photos and say that they did that, it's going to have my name on it. So, but yeah, you can do that. And another thing that you can do to kind of help people get the word out is do a couple free cleans for people that you know, your friends or your mom or your mother-in-law or somebody that you know. Do a couple free cleans and get those before and after pictures, and just tell them what you're doing, and let them help spread the word too. So that's about it for me today. I'm done, I think. I want to thank everybody for watching. I want to thank Lindy Best for asking this question, and I have some more that I'm going to do for her. And thank you so much to Michael for being a moderator. Didn't look like we had any trolls this time, so that's good. So everybody, you have a great Saturday. Hope you get a lot done, and have a great day. Bye-bye.